not only destabilized, but destroyed. Now, the city is actually proud of this number, 1,500, because they say it's a low number. Granted, it's higher than all of the other occupied foreclosures of the next 5 cities combined. But they say it's low because it's less than what Mayor Duggan and County Treasurer Eric Sabri have foreclosed on before. So that's the standard that we're working on. When you ask them, why? Why is it that we have families being kicked out of their homes? They will run you around in circles talking about bad landlords, talking about people who don't want to pay their taxes, but they'll never get to the heart of the issue. They'll never ask, for example, why in a city like Detroit, there are more abandoned homes than people experiencing homelessness. Why in the city of Detroit, we have less affordable homes for black families now than we did during Jim Crow.
Yeah, that's Miss Gears. I ain't gonna include.
Why in a city like Detroit, both city officials and banks have collectively displaced more residents than Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to clap because nothing that I'm saying is very positive, but it's the truth. So Detroit used to have the highest home ownership rate for black families across this nation.
That's right.
And that is something to be proud of, but we were targeted because of that.
That's exactly right.
So we had banks and mortgage lenders like Quicken Loans, like Bank of America, who now occupy some of the tallest buildings in our city.
That's right.
They went door by door to neighbors, to the elderly, to people who couldn't speak English and understand the terms of a loan, to sign them up for a mortgage that was fraudulent.
That's right.
No problem.
So when we're talking about the housing crisis, that started in Detroit.
That's right.
Our housing market crashed in 2006, 2007, a few years before the rest of the nation caught up. Now, instead of giving these homeowners some reprieve, the city government actually double-dipped in this fraud. Because while these lenders were able to get away with fraudulent mortgages, the city overassessed homes based on these mortgages and based on these valuations. So you had city officials overassessing homes at 3, even 4 times their value, and then passing those taxes off to homeowners. Now, we know this didn't happen in wealthy communities, right? We know this only happened to the poor. It didn't matter if you were black, white, or brown. If you lived in a neighborhood that they wanted to develop in, you could guarantee that your taxes were illegally assessed. And the city was actually sued because instead of providing waivers and exemptions, which they're legally obligated to low-income residents, what the city did instead was encourage people to sign up for county payment plans. Who's heard of one of those county payment plans? You know, Sabri's always on the radio. He puts signs up on buses, on billboards to remind you that there's a kiosk where you can pay illegal taxes. I mean, imagine that, right? So, not only that, the city was supposed to, after providing these exemptions, give additional support to residents, and they did not, and that's why they were sued.
Criminal.
It was criminal.
That's right.
And now the same mortgage lenders who got away with theft and robbery are buying up properties for pennies on the dollar. The city and the county have received well over $100 million in illegal payments
Illegal. That's right.
to fund things that we will never benefit from.
Hey, baby.
So this summer, myself along with a group of advocates, as Abeomi mentioned, started a citywide effort to let people know about how they could keep their home. Now, we weren't giving people information that they didn't already know. We listened to stories of people who could document year by year how Quicken Loans and the banks came by and knocked on doors, and every year, one more of their neighbors had to leave. Every year, you had a homeowner turn into a tenant. Every year, yellow bags being placed on doors with families in them, with children. All for a few bucks. Really all for a few bucks. So I think the most interesting thing was the ignorance and the privilege of city officials, because when we confronted them on this, most city officials couldn't even walk you through what a foreclosure was. They didn't know about the lawsuit. The person who was in charge of neighborhood developments couldn't even understand the legal documents. When we could walk residents through and they knew what it meant. And it's because they have a different perspective, right? Now, some of these people might be evil. I think a lot of them are just ignorant. A lot of them are just ignorant. But ignorance is just as dangerous, if not more, than evil. So those in power will tell us that we live in a democratic and a free society. They will tell us that we have liberties and rights such as speech and expression. But I have to ask them this: if we don't have a right to a home, if families are forced to squat in homes that used to be theirs, if we have our children being damned to dilapidated schools and illiteracy, if we have mothers who are fearing having their children being taken from them because the city shut their water off, if our tax dollars are going to developments that will never benefit anyone in our neighborhoods, how are we free? What rights do we have? Now, I'll end with this. My father grew up on a white man's plantation in the heart of Georgia. His father grew up on a white man's plantation in the heart of Georgia. It was very easy for my father to know who his oppressor was. It was easy for my grandfather to know who his oppressor was. Now, we live in a very different scenario because slavery, exploitation, exists everywhere. It's still on the farm, right? As we talk about undocumented workers, as we talk about immigrants who are being paid literally pennies, as we talk about people in prisons who are being paid pennies, as we talk about people in restaurants, lecturers in some of the most well-renowned institutions in the world being paid pennies. Slavery is everywhere, and sometimes it's difficult to see who your oppressor is, but my father always told me this: if you appeal to those with power and ask them for more, they're going to say that you're unreasonable. They're going to say that you don't understand how the world works. They're going to say that you're entitled. Well, I stand here today to say that I am entitled. I'm entitled to my life. And I'm not going to let a bank or a bought-out politician tell me that I'm not entitled to my life. And to live, I need a home. To live, I need a job. To live, I need water. To live, I need food. So if you're not going to give those to me, then you're telling me that I'm not entitled to live, and I'm not going to accept that. Will you accept that?